Hey guys, so here is a lesson on literal equations. So literal equations just means equations with many variables. So far, we've only been working with one variable, like either just x or r or m, but so far we've been solving equations with just one variable, right? And we solve for that variable, x equals, sometimes h equals, but so far just one variable and everything else is numbers. But literal equation are going to be many different variables, and you're going to be solving for one variable, and it's going to ask us which variable to solve for. So it says solve for w, solve for h, and then so on. The main thing that I want you to remember from like the properties or how all of this even works is these two things right here. I'll kind of explain it, and then we'll just practice it. But here, the inverse property of addition allows us to make a zero, which means just to be able to cancel things out. So if you have a, and if you do the opposite sign of it, if you add the opposite of it, then it becomes zero. So that's basically what cancels things out. And then here, when you divide by the same number, it equals to 1, which basically cancels it out for when you have something that's being multiplied. Okay, so just kind of keep these in the back of our mind. All right, so here's our example right here. Let's kind of do these two parallel since you guys already know how to do two-step equations. So in this one, we do have just solve for x. So we're going to have to get rid of the 5 first. So we're going to go ahead and add 5. You already know how to do this. We're going to add 5 on both sides. And then you bring down the 2x. Remember that's when you have two opposite signs, they equal to 0. So negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. That means it gets canceled out. We don't really write the 0, but it's there. And then bring down the equal sign, and then you have 13 plus 5, which is 18. Okay, so that's how you get rid of the constant. So when I'm trying to solve for x here and I just have numbers, same concept here. I'm going to go ahead and add b on both sides, add b on both sides, get rid of the number that's by itself, meaning without the x. And then that negative b plus b is 0, gets canceled out. Bring down the ax equals, and this is the big difference here. These two are variables or just letters, right? And I cannot really know, I don't know what c plus b is. So I'm just going to write just c plus b. That's fine. Here also I could have just write 13 plus 5 here, but I know what 13 plus 5 is. It's 18. So I just simplified it here. But here I don't know what these two are, so I'll just rewrite it right there. All right, going back to this problem here, I know my next step is to divide out the 2, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, something like that, and 1x is just the same as just x, so we don't really write the 1, but I'll go ahead and cancel those out, and you just bring down the x by itself. Basically, that's 1x, but we just don't write the 1, and then equals 18 right here. So same thing here. We're going to go ahead and divide both sides by a, so that gets canceled out. Divide both sides by a, and then a divided by a is 1, so I have x by itself equals, and just bring this down. Okay, that part, I know it's going to look weird, but we're just going to write it down. C plus b over a, and I know it looks weird, but that's what it is. That's my answer right there. So x equals all of this right here. Okay, take over the b, divide by a. Now, it's not going to be that simple all the time. You're just going to have to keep working with these type of equations. So here, the first thing you need to know is how to see what variable it's asking you to solve for. So it's asking you to solve for w, which means that I need to get everything else that's around the w, which is L. L is being multiplied, right? L is being multiplied. So to get rid of the L, I need to divide by L on both sides, divide by L on both sides. Just work vertically, just bring everything down, bring down the equal sign. L divided by L, it gets canceled out, so I just have W by itself. That's what I wanted. And then on this side, I just have A over L. So to write out my answer, we just like to have whatever we are solving for on the left side. So W equals A over L. That's my answer. Okay, for this one, I'm solving for H, same thing, right? I'm just going to divide both sides by B, divide both sides by B. So you just have H by itself. So you have H equals A over B. All right. I do have to tell you that they get pretty complicated as we keep going. But, you know, we're starting from the basic and then moving our way up. All right. We're solving for t, so that means I have to get rid of the r. So I need to divide both sides by r, divide both sides by r. So you have t equals d over r. And that's it. This one, so typically you're going to have more than just 2 variables or 3. There's going to be a lot of different variables. So let's see. So first of all, I have to notice what I'm solving for. I'm solving for t, and I have p and r. Now notice that I don't have a addition or subtraction sign, which means that everything is being multiplied. That's going to be pretty easy actually. We just need to divide it out. We're going to divide both sides of my equal sign. We're going to keep the t and remove the p and the r. Remove the p and the r, and then that gets canceled out right there. So you just have t by itself equals I over PR. And that's that. It's going to keep going. Solve for h. I'm going to get h by itself. So I need to divide both sides by LW. LW, that gets crossed out. So you have h equals V over LW. Okay. All right, solve for r here. Now this one, it's a little bit more complicated because I didn't teach you how to do like squares, which is square roots and everything. That comes later in algebra. I'll do it, but don't worry about it. It's not going to like be on any of the quizzes and tests for this unit. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to go through it for those of you who are interested. I'm solving for r. So just notice that I need to get rid of the pi symbol and then the square. So let me first go ahead and divide out the pi. Okay. And then the pi gets canceled out. So you just have here r squared equals, I'm just kind of flipping it, a over pi. And then to get rid of the square here, the opposite of square is square root. Again, it's just there. Don't worry too much about it for now. We'll cover these in later units. So that's how you get rid of the square. A little preview of what's going to come in the next unit of, like, I think it's unit 8, something like that. And then r equals, you just write square root of a over pi. Okay, just a little preview. All right, now so far, if you notice, we've just been dividing things out. Divide, 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 right? That's because if you notice, all of the first 6 problems didn't have an addition sign or a subtraction sign. So now we have some addition signs and subtraction signs here. So let's be careful here. So I'm solving for C, so I need to get rid of the S and also technically this minus sign. So it's C minus S, so negative S basically. So I need to add S, that's S. Add S on both sides, okay? So that's how you get rid of that. So you have C equals M plus S, and that's that. That's my answer. And then on this one, it's being divided out. So you have, I'm solving for M, and it's M divided by V. So to get rid of that, I need to multiply by V on both sides. Multiply by V, because V divided by V gives you that 1. So that's 1M, and then we don't write the M, and it gets canceled out. Okay? So the V's gets canceled out, so you just have M by itself right there. So you have m equals, and then v times d is just v times d, which is just vd, okay? All right, I have a few more examples on the next page. I'm just going to go through it. These are honestly, the more like important ones, because this is the stuff that you're going to see on your quizzes, tests, and so on, okay? All right, so we're going to look at, these are, again, the previous ones that we did are like kind of just one step. We just did one thing. Here it's going to be like multiple steps, okay? All right, so for h, I need to solve for h. So I need to get rid of 1/2 and then b. Let's do it kind of step by step here. First of all, to get rid of a fraction, we need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So I'm going to go ahead and use parentheses because I'm multiplying a fraction. It just, parentheses just helps us see that better. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1. 2 over 1 is just 2, right? So this is also 2 over 1. We're multiplying here. So that gets rid of just the fraction part, okay? So I have BH here. I'm going to bring that down and just kind of flip it a little bit. Equals 2 over 1 is just 2, and then 2 times A is just 2A. Okay, that's what I have so far. And then I need to keep going. I need to multiply. Sorry, I'm solving for h here, so I need to get rid of the b, so I just need to simply divide it out. Divide out the b here. Okay, so you have h equals 2a over b. Same thing here. I'm solving for b. This should be uppercase b here. Let's have uppercase b. All right, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 over 1. Which is just 3. I'm just going to write 3. That gets rid of all of that. So 3v equals b over h. Let me bring it over actually. B over h equals 3v. And then we need to divide out the h. So h, sorry, I canceled out the wrong thing. Divide out the h. So I need to keep the b, right? So b equals 3v over h. All right, I'm solving for m here. So if you notice, I don't see any multiplication or addition or subtraction signs. So everything is being multiplied or divided. So look what I'm going to do here. I can just go ahead and multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this, right? V squared over h. So the reciprocal would be 2 over v squared. Okay, 2 over v squared. We're just going to do it all in one step here. So that gets rid of the 2 and the v squareds, and I just m by itself here. M equals 2k, 2 times k over v squared. All right, I'm here. I'm going to solve for b here. Now notice I can't get rid of the c first here. I need to get rid of the fraction part here first, because that's being like, it's kind of, the c is kind of stuck. I need to first get rid of the fractions. I'm going to multiply both sides by d here, so the d's get canceled out. So I just have b plus c equals dA. All right, and then I'm solving for b, so I need to keep the b, so I need to get rid of the c, subtract out the c. So you have b equals dA minus c. Okay, just go with it, y'all. This is just how it is. All right, w. So I'm solving for w. I would kind of honestly like pay a little attention to this problem, because I've seen this problem on the SOL before and the test and everything. So pay attention to this problem right here. All right, so I'm solving for w. Before I can get rid of the 2, I need to go ahead and get rid of this 2L. So I'm going to subtract 2L on both sides. Okay, so that gets rid of that. So 2W equals P minus 2L. Okay, P minus 2L. and then divide both sides by 2, divide both sides by 2. So you have W equals, that's it, P minus 2L over 2. Solve for y, so I'm going to get rid of the AX. So you have BY equals C minus AX, and then divide out the B. Divide out the B. Okay. All right, y'all. 4 more problems. I would honestly pay attention to these last 4 problems because I've seen these come up many times on assessments. Okay, so here you have y equals mx plus b. So we're gonna go ahead and solve for x. So we're gonna subtract b on both sides. That gets rid of the b. So you have mx equals y minus b. And then I'm solving for x here. So I need to divide both sides by m, divide both sides by m. So you have x equals y minus b. That gets rid of that. So you have x equals y minus b over m. Solving for t here, so I need to go ahead and get rid of the p here and then go from there. I see something else that I could do here, but I'll just, never mind, forget what I just said. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract p on both sides. So you have here P, capital P R T, right here, this part, equals A minus P. And again, notice I'm solving for T here. So I have PR that I need to get rid of, and I can just simply divide that out since it's being multiplied. So you have T equals A minus P over PR. And that's my answer. All right, so this one, again, I have a fraction out here that I need to get rid of first. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by the reciprocal so I can get rid of that. So you're going to do 9 over 5 on both sides. Okay, that gets rid of all of that fraction part. So all I have left here is f minus 32 equals 9 over 5 times c. That's going to be 9. You can just write 9 over 5 times c, but I'll kind of just write it as one fraction, which is 9 times c over 5. And then here, I need to get rid of the plus 32. So I need to, sorry, it's minus 32. So I need to plus 32 on both sides, plus 32 on both sides. So that gets rid of that. So let me just write everything out. So f equals 9c over 5 plus 32. Okay. And then the last problem here, it doesn't tell me what to solve for. So let me solve for, my bad, solve for, I could say H, let me say B2. I think I've kind of seen this problem come up. I'll just say B2. So B2 is inside the parentheses. We haven't really done something like that. So the 2 is, look at B2 as one variable. Like that's what you're solving for. Don't worry about the 2, since it's a subscript, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like designating the B1 and B2 apart from each other. Okay, so we're solving for this variable right here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the fraction first. I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 2 over 1, the reciprocal, 2 over 1, which is just 2. So I have here, so that here gets rid of the fraction. So I'm going to bring this part down. H times B1 plus B2 equals 2a. All right, so I have the h out here. I do need to get rid of that h first. So divide both sides by h, divide both sides by h. So what I have here is I can go ahead and drop the parentheses since I'm not multiplying anything by it anymore. B2 equals 2a over h. And then the final step to get B2 by itself is subtract out the B1. So B2 equals 2a over h minus B1. Okay, so that's what the answer is. And yeah, probably the most weirdest lesson that you're going to see in Algebra 1, but that's what it is. All right, thanks for watching, guys.